think? Want to go in? Dune, want to go in? Okay, let's go in. Hi, everybody. Well, this is my buddy Dune. You've probably seen him running around in some of the videos. He's going to be 14 on the 2nd of February. He's been with me now for 12 years. And it's a real interesting story, how I got him. And I thought, well, you've seen him running around in some of the videos that I do. And I thought you might be interested in the story. Before I had, his name is Dune 3, Return of the Evil Scum, The Nightmare Continues. Now, the Dune 3 is okay. The rest of it just goes to tell you that I got a hell of a lot of free time on my hands. And, my imagination runs wild sometimes. But, how I got him was really quite interesting. Dune 2, which was a Nova Scotia duck toller and a very great dog, he got sick on a Thursday evening. I took him into the vet. The vet kept him overnight. I went over on Friday morning, and the vet gave me the bad news that he had liver cancer and he was bleeding out. So I immediately made the decision to have him put down and have him put down. Now this caused a problem which I did not expect this. You see, at the time, my mother, who was in the beginning stages of Alzheimer's, was living with me. And although she recognized me and recognized everybody in the family and everything like that, her memory was going and it was deteriorating rather fast. So when I got home, and she said, "Where's the dog?" And I told her that he had liver cancer and I had to have him put down. She started to cry. She really liked Dune too. And, she was quite upset by it. So I went back down to work. I worked out of my home at the time. And I was back downstairs working, and I came up for a cup of coffee or something, and she said, "Tommy, where's the dog?" And I said, "Mom, I told you he had liver cancer and I had to have him put down this morning." She went right into it again. She started crying. She was just grieving for him. This went on about every 2 to 3 hours all weekend. It was a Friday, as I said. Monday morning I called the SPC and I explained to them. I said, this is the situation. The woman on the phone started crying, right? Animal lovers, they understand these things, right? You want to get down, you go. Animal lovers, they understand these things. And so anyway, she said, there's a problem. It takes between 14 and 28 days to adopt a dog. That's the policy now. And I went, wow. I said, I got to put up with this for 2 weeks to a month. I don't know if I can do this. And she said, well, why don't you come in and take a look at the dogs and pick one? And I said, well, okay. So I went in. And she was there, and I went. She took me to where they had the dogs that they were putting up that day. And it's a kennel, and there's 6 kennels on each side. So I walked down, and there's all these dogs, and it was almost like I was in there's like 10 dogs barking at me. And I'm going, oh my God, how am I going to choose this? And I'm going down, and most of them are too big, because I have to consider my mother, who was rather frail at this time, because she was 85. And she, I had to consider her, and I didn't want a big, boisterous dog. And right down on the right-hand side, in the very last kennel, was Dune. And he was sitting at the back of the kennel, and he looked at me, And I stuck my hand through the door, and he walked over and he just licked it a couple of times, and he just looked up at me. And I said, well, this is the dog. So I went out and I said, it's Nike. His name was Nike. And she said, oh, Nike's a very sweet dog, and your mother should like her. And I said, oh, I hope so. So anyway, she said, fill out the application. You have your references. I had extra references with me. I said, not a problem. So I put the extra references with it. People had known me for years. Go home. She asked me, where's the dog, you know? And I explained, you know, everything. And she goes, oh my God. She said, I said, hopefully he'll be, you know, we'll have a new dog soon. So I go down and I go back to work. A couple hours go by and the phone rings. Come and get your dog. I went, oh, okay. Right? I said, I'll be there 10 minutes. Right? Overjoyed. Jump in the car. Over the bridge, over the Dartmouth side. I lived in Halifax at the time. Over the Dartmouth side. I get there. The dog is there. Got a leash for him. Get him in the car. Anybody who's been to Halifax, if you know Halifax, it's divided in. There's the Dartmouth side, the Halifax side. I lived on the Halifax side. The SPC was on the Dartmouth side. I had to go over the bridge. He's climbed up on me. I figure I'm going to die, right? He's all excited. He's just going back and forth, going up, licking me on the face, and all this kind of stuff. I guess he figured, well, I just dodged that bullet, you know, and got out of there before they gave me the needle, right? So anyway, I get home. I take him in the house. I take him off the leash. He walks up the hall, looks in the living room. My mother's sitting on the couch. He looks at her, just for a second. And then he prances over, gets up on the couch, and starts licking her. And she's going, hi, Dune. How's it going? Hi, Dune. Now, as you noticed, he's a black and tan dog. A Nova Scotia duck toller. For those who don't know, the Nova Scotia duck toller looks a lot like an Irish setter. They look nothing alike. He's half the size of the duck toller. She doesn't even know. And they bonded immediately. It was amazing. They got together. But the interesting story is that they really became good friends, and they bonded. And that was in February. She died on the 7th of June that year. And basically she had stopped eating. But I would bring her supper, and it would disappear. She was feeding the dog. The dog was gaining weight like nobody's business. And you know, I guess he bonded with her because of that. But what's interesting is that when she died, or when she left to go to the hospital in the last week of May, he got up on the couch where she sat, and he stayed there basically. And for about 6 weeks, he'd only come down to go to the bathroom and for meals, go for walks. And then he bonded with me, and he's been with me ever since. He's 14 years old, right? As best we can tell, because at the time, like, I claim his birthday is the 2nd of February because the event, I got him on the 2nd of February. And she told me he was like 2 years old. So, you know, he may be 15 years old, he may be 13 years old, I don't know, but he's a darn good dog, and as you can see, he's in really good shape. And one of the interesting things is that Nike apparently is the equivalent of Victoria, or Victory, or Victor, in Roman mythology. And his name was Nike, and my mother's name was Victoria. So, maybe there's something to that. I don't know. Anyway, I hope to have him for a few more years yet. Wish I could have my mother back. Anyway, till the next time.